everyone, it's Cathy Zielske for Scrapbook and Cards Today, and I'm excited to share a fun embossing project with you today that I think you will love. So let's get into the project. Here's a look at some of the supplies I'm going to be using today, and I have this gorgeous, beautiful butterflies 3D embossing folder from Spellbinders. And what I'm going to show you today is how you can add quick and easy color just by adding your inks right to the folder, putting your paper in and running it through. It's such a fun way to use an embossing folder. So let's get started. On the packaging, it says for best results, it's recommended to mist the cardstock and run the folder through the machine with the open end first. So if you've never used a 3D embossing folder, if there are instructions like this, it's always a good idea to follow them. So I will be definitely doing that today. Another tool that's helpful for this is a brayer. This is from Tim Holtz. But what I plan to do is to swipe my pads directly onto the folder itself as a way to transfer the ink, and then I'll use my brayer to just smooth it out. So when you open these folders, you'll notice one side feels nubby, right? That's the part that pushes up, and the other is the part that recedes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ink up this side of the folder before I put my paper in. Now I've got 3 oxides, but really any inks will work for this. I just like oxides because they tend to stay a little bit creamier longer, and so that's what I'm going to use for this. I'm also getting my plates ready for my Spellbinders Platinum 6 machine, and what's nice is I have the universal plates for the system, and right here it will say how to build a 3D embossing folder sandwich. You need platform A, which I have here, your 3D embossing folder with paper, and the adapter plate. So I love these plates. They work so beautifully with the Spellbinders embossing folder. So I'll bring my machine in just a second as soon as we start getting this inked up. All right, so let's start at the top with picked raspberry, and I'm just going to swipe. Now, I'm not going to be using all of the surface that I'm adding this color on, right? But that's okay, because we're going to be trimming our panel down. And I'm giving it some nice pressure here, right? I want this color to be pretty heavy, okay? I'm going to bring in spiced marmalade. Now, I'm not worried about any kind of overlapping of the pads. That's fine, meaning on the pad itself, okay? But I'm kind of coming at a bit of an angle. And then I'll bring in dried marigold, which is lighter, but I think I'm really into this color right now. So we're just going to finish it off here with the dried marigold. And actually, I don't even think I need to do any brayering on this because this is going to look great. Now, I am going to do a light mist on the folder itself. And now I am going to take my cardstock and also give it a light mist. Now, this is a Ranger Distress Sprayer, really handy to have, and just light mist like that. Okay, I'm going to put this right, and I'm going to angle it actually like that a bit to get a little of that color at an angle. Close this, okay, and now I'll bring in my machine. So I've got platform A. I am going to do it with the open side going through first per their instructions. I am going to put adapter plate D on top, just like that, and we're going to run this through and create our panel. It runs through pretty easily, actually. This is surprising. It's got pressure, but it's not like too much pressure. Okay, bringing it right back through. I didn't even need the brayer. All right, and get this out of the way. And now when we open our folder, oh yes, I can already see the prettiness. Look at how fun that panel is. Isn't that pretty? So the white parts stay pretty much untouched, and then all of the other areas get that ink on the inside. It's just such a quick way to add a really cool color, and of course there's so much texture in there to your panel of cardstock. Actually, I want to show you the difference of how it looks when you use the brayer technique. All right, so here we go. Because it's going to give a very different look. So I'm going to take my brayer and just get my color loaded onto my brayer. Just kind of pick it up and go back and forth a few times like this. Okay. Just until you can really start to see it on the brayer. Then you know you're getting that color on there. Okay. And then I'm just going to go like that, roll that on like that. Okay. Then I'm going to wipe this down like that, just with my little chamois. Pretty easy to do. But you don't have to worry about getting it all off. Or you can also just do it on some scratch paper as well, like that. Now let's go to the next color, the spiced marmalade. Okay. And actually, I'm trying to, there we go. Add that to the brayer, and again, just go over, do a little overlapping where you can, like that. Okay. And again, I'm just going to clean it off like that. If you do this on white cardstock, you can create a really funky background that you might love. All right, and the last one is the dried marigold. And again, add that to the folder, okay? Now, this time I won't mist that at all. I'll just mist my cardstock. So, got my cardstock here. I'll give it the mist. Okay. But I am going to put it mist side down, like that. Okay. Close my folder. Place it with the open end going in first. And put on the D plate, and I'll run this through. I'm gonna get that paper out of the way. There we go. And now let's take a look at how this turned out. Ooh, that's a little different. Now look at that. That is a little softer and has a little bit more of the white popping out. So you get two different looks. I actually think I do like the brayered look better. So this is the one I'm going to turn into my card, but I'll save this for another project as well. Both are beautiful. I just love how this has a crisper white pattern. I actually had an idea while I'm here to maybe add a little splatter. And I think what would be really pretty is maybe to take just the dried marigold, and here's what I'm going to do. I have one of these, I'll show you. It is called a splat box for sprays, paint, and more. And the reason I love this box is that it protects my computer, which is right behind me. Well, actually, I guess I could go like that. While I'm filming, I like to splat into something because spray goes everywhere. But I've got a fan brush, which I think are wonderful for creating splatter. And I'm just putting some of the little dried marigold down. I'm going to get it wet. I'm going to get my brush wet. Now this might be very, very light and it might not show up that much, but we're going to give it a try. So let's see. Just some little splatters here. Boy, that's not showing up at all. I think, oh no, I see little bits. You know what? Let's bump it up with spiced marigold, or spiced marmalade. There we go. All right, picking that up. And I'm just getting this right on my little craft mat here and splatter. Just for a little extra detail. It's very subtle, but I kind of love that. Okay, there we go. All right. You can do that to any project, and the splatters are so tiny. You can't really make them out, but I promise you, they're there. All right, moving on. For my grading today, I've got a couple different hot foil plates and coordinating dies, and I love this one because it cuts them all out at once. I don't know if I made my paper large enough here, but I'm going to see, I might not be able to squeeze those all in, although what if I did that and just sort of, well, we'll see. Actually, I might do a larger piece because I just want to do it. Well, that should work, right? Like that? Okay, I am going to be using some matte gold Spellbinders glimmer foil because I think this will look so pretty with the pinks and the oranges. So I'm going to get some tape out here, get this set up, and I'm heating up my machine just out of the camera view, so I'll bring that in a second. And I will just do a little hinge here. Well, I guess I could do, let's see, how about if I do both hinges? Right there, we'll hold you into place, and we will hold you into place right there. All right, let me cut this foil and add a little in. I'm going to lift these up. That, by the way, this cardstock is hammer mill. Oh, it needs to be shiny, pretty side to pretty side, right? Oh, I'm learning. And I feel like I'm going to have to just position this one again. So that's going to be right there. Make sure it's on the cardstock. Come on. Hold that there for a second. Like that. Okay. Get you guys here. Hold that there. Then I can trim a little extra foil off. I'm not worried about any overfoiling because I'm going to be die cutting this out. But I do want to make sure that I get this on the cardstock so that we can die cut it properly. The light has turned green, so I'm going to pick up my foil pieces, pop them down. I'm going to take that shim, the thin shim, I'm going to go like that, and I'm going to hit my timer. And as I have learned with my foiling, only run through once. Because if you come back and forth, you can get double foiling. All right, I can disengage. Now I'm not too worried about anything slipping because it's all taped into place. And now we'll just pop this platform down and slowly run it through. All right, like that. Now I'm just gonna take these plates off, take that off. I will lift this up like that. Ooh, everything's kind of hanging out there. And then I'll put this right back into the little cradle. Get this out of the way. It looks like the foiling happened beautifully. I'm gonna take my little tool though. I don't wanna get that touching. It's not really that hot, but just to be on the safe side, pick you up. Ooh, now you're stuck. Pick you up, let you cool here. All right, let's take a look at our foiling and see what happened. We'll see what we got because we're gonna have choices. So I'm gonna peel this back. Well, I was a little off on that one. So I think what I'll do is I'll cut this out and I might redo that one. There's just a little missing here at the bottom and I think it could have been, it just slipped a bit. So I'm going to go ahead and do that one again off camera and then we'll cut them all out. All right, I've got the coordinating die into place. The second version of this turned out beautifully. So let me cut those out really quickly so we have all these greetings to choose from. Look at how fun that is when you have all these little greetings cut out and each one of them is foiled, right? That is just beautiful. So I think that's so fun. All right. We'll turn these and the panels into cards. I've popped both of these panels onto a note card. I trimmed these down to 3 3/4 by 5 to have that nice margin. This definitely has the softer feel. This I put on some sweet corn cardstock from Gina K. That has a definite bolder feel. And I've got some foam squares, so I'm just going to pop these greetings onto the cards. I'll put a little liquid glue. This is Connect Glue from Gina K Designs because I want to have a little float time, but also there's so much dimension and texture happening.
I just want to make sure that I get this in the right place. So excuse my head if it gets in the way. We're going to just pop it right in the center like that. So simple, right? But so pretty. All that beautiful texture, pressing that down, that looks great. Let's add this one. Again, just a few foam squares on the back. Little liquid glue. And this one, I'm just going to nestle right in there. Like that. All right, let's get some sequins. I thought that some gold pearls would be really nice to finish out these cards. So again, I'll use my liquid glue to adhere them. Boop, just drop that down on the little blob. Boop. And if it oozes out, that's fine because it will dry clear. Get a little right there. Pick you up. And I'm looking for places that the glue will sit nicely on the dimension, but just that little extra. And here we have 5. 5 is a nice even number, but here we have 2 repeating, sort of reflected, symmetrical look. So I'm going to do the same over here. Boop. Boop. The little sound effect does help. Boop. And it brings joy to the process. You know, you got to have fun. Got to have fun. Little there, boop, and the last little friend is boop, right there. And those are my 2 finished card projects. So it creates such a beautiful look by adding color to your embossing folder and then impressing that color into your project. Look at the shine on that. Isn't that gorgeous? So we've got little bits of beautiful shine here. We've got the texture and that butterfly pattern. I really like the softness of this one, but you can see on this card, if you go heavier, you're definitely going to get that heavier look. All right, those are the cards. Thanks so much for watching today. If you are not a subscriber to the Scrapbook and Cards Today YouTube channel, please become one. We share content every week to inspire you and get you going on the creative mojo train. So subscribe, hit that notifications bell, and we'll see you back here with another crafty project soon.